Hello and welcome to the TechHUB show. As you know, it's your boy Admire Kamtimbe, and today it's one of those special days that makes you feel like you want to touch the sky with joy. As you know, I've been talking about my resolutions in episode 2, and one of the things I mentioned was featuring people who matter in the Zim tech space. So it's an honor and a blessing to welcome Edwin Chabuka from TechZim.
Pleasure's all mine. For once, I am now a guest on the podcast.
Yes. Man, this is a dream come true, you know. From someone who just had a podcast dream in a dorm room at university to meeting one of the people I respect so much in the tech space in Zim. In fact, as I mentioned the first day we spoke, it's your podcast, technically, which inspired me to start this podcast. And I hope to get your blessing, so that I keep the culture moving.
Oh yeah. I mean, the biggest part of it is just starting. So the fact that you already have something up and running and you have people that you want there so that you keep it moving forward. Yeah, that's the way to go. That's how we started.
Yeah, Vusitembe Choir mentions that when you are starting something, the hardest point is to start.
Yes.
So
It's that inertia of starting.
I no longer feel the heat because now I have people like you in my circle, and I know that I will be stealing some cheat sheets from you on what worked and what didn't work.
Oh yes, definitely.
So without further ado, let me give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the listeners.
All right. So yes, I am Edwin Chabuka, and I am a media producer at TechZim. So I mainly I do editorial stuff in terms of articles, but my main focus is on media content, so video and audio. So podcasts, YouTube videos, that's the stuff that I work on, as well as design work that might be required by TechZim. So it might be stuff that we're promoting because we also have an e-commerce side where we sell digital products. So your Zesa, your airtime bundles and stuff like that using the short code *405#. And so sometimes we need to create material for our distribution partners who help us sell these products, as well as on our social media platforms, just for an awareness of what exists and how to access these services. So yeah, that's my side of things.
Okay. Oh, inspiring. You make it sound so simple, yet when one goes to the TechZim website, you see that there is a lot of great work being done there. Is it being familiar? Is it being in the game for a long time that makes you sound, so easy?
It's a combination of a lot of things. So I would say the first one is being part of a driven team. So because you're part of a driven team, the energy is just viral within the team. So it's easy now to then start doing things with all that support, because wherever it is that you're lacking, someone might have an idea that you don't have. So that sharing of ideas really helps. And then one of the I would say the cheat codes that I've seen, not just within TechZim, but just growing up generally, in high school, you have that one guy who's good at a certain subject. So let's say they're good at math. And maybe they're just slightly better than the best person. But because they are just slightly better, more people keep coming to that guy asking for help and whatnot and whatnot. But as they do that, they further sharpen this guy's skills, because every time someone is asking him that thing, it's practice. But it all starts from then doing something, and then other people seeing that, oh, they're actually doing something, so let's just jump onto it. So I think that's the same thing with TechZim as well. I mean, when I started off, it was a lot.
Mm.
I struggled. But the more I did it, the more certain people would see something that I think is mediocre,
Mm.
but be so impressed with it to a point where they start coming to me, asking me, how do I do this? This was really nice about what you did. I want to also learn how to do that. And the more people started doing that, the more I started understanding what actually works for people.
Mm.
So I was being unnecessarily hard on myself sometimes,
Mm.
but also I improved further because now I could get, it was great. I would say the best sort of criticism where someone looks at your work and says, I like this part of it.
Mm.
Can I have more of that?
Mm.
So that just makes it a lot easier now. Yeah.
Wow. At AfriBlocks 2023 freelancers, is it conference or summit?
Yeah, it's a summit. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned that you have a task of connecting two parties.
Yes.
Um, what skills did you have to develop to understand what part A is trying to say to part C and say it in a way that both parties understand?
So that one is an interesting one. I think the biggest thing is to just care. So you find out that information can be communicated by, let's say, established media.
Mhm.
And this communication is communicated in a package that the common person will struggle to unpack. So whenever there is any news, you want to understand the positive or negative impacts that thing will have on my day to day. Right? That's usually what you want to do.
Mhm.
So I think that's then the divide that we then feel, because in a lot of cases, the big media guys, because they're big,
Mhm.
it's easy for them to get exclusives. It's easy for people to approach them because they're a big platform that has a big reach. So
Mhm.
they can, it's a go-to place for a lot of people.
Mhm.
So they have access that we don't have.
Mhm.
But our place is we will try to get the access as well, but through a different route. We might not have we might not have the coverage that they have,
Mhm.
but probably we care a little bit more to sit down with the person and understand their story.
Mhm.
And because we care enough about that, more and more people who are looking for something similar to that will start opening themselves to us. But they're also giving us exclusives that they probably would not have been able to give to the big guys, because the big guys will not really see any significance of this startup that's just trying to get something done.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's caring, and it's figuring out a way of explaining what effect whatever news that has come out there has on someone's day to day.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, I also picked up this sense of simplicity on one of your reviews when you explained that um, people mustn't put passwords on their systems.
Mm.
Um, and I think it was just syncing with that idea you were saying that it has to be simple enough
Yes.
for people to understand what is being said.
Oh yeah. It has to be simple.
Yes. So what are the